How are we doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another NASCAR post-race review, Sonoma edition. We got a lot to talk about after that Sonoma race. That was actually probably one of the best road course races I've seen from the next-gen car, and to get it at Sonoma of all places, like, man, I'll take that. But without further delay, NASCAR at Sonoma post-race recap. Let's get into it. Starting off, let's get stage one done and over with. Cautions breed cautions. That was really the aim of the first two stages. I should also mention, don't mind, crap, I can't even tell where my scars are. Just don't mind my scars. I had a boxing fight last night. Unfortunately, I did come up on the short end of the stick, but what can you do? That's life. The guy had more knockouts than I had fights and fought in like 3 different countries, so don't worry about it. I'm okay. My rib's a little sore, but I'll live. But yeah, no, let's get into it. Joey Logano started on the pole. Yeah, he pretty well led the first 20 laps or so, and well, the first caution was on lap 2 for Denny Hamlin, blowing up on lap 2. I don't even know how it happened. Was it meant to be for all the California Denny Hamlin haters? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it was their lucky day. We all know Denny's not a very particularly liked person in the garage, so yeah. Sonoma fans, you got your wish. You got to see Denny Hamlin blow up. But anyway, what else happened in stage 1? I remember there was just cautions breed cautions. I'll have to pull up NASCAR's Twitter here. Oh yes, and so Truex went around at one point in stage 1, just got caught up. Who was it here?
All gone. See?
Oh, don't want the sound. I'm just trying to see who. Yeah, it was Will Brown. That's another thing I should mention here today. The Supercars drivers weren't too impressive today. I expected better from the Supercars guys, to be honest, but like Will Brown, I mean, he had some good runs in practice and qualifying, but that was really about it. Cam Waters, really about the same. I think Will Brown was more impressive. I think Cam Waters did end up having the better race pace, but it is what it is. Sucks for the Supercars guys, but yeah, and then like 5 more laps into that, I think it was like right off the restart, because here's one thing that kept happening. All the cautions that happened in the first 2 stages, it was just you go here, and then like you go on this strategy, you go on that strategy, you're taking this tire, you're taking this amount of fuel. It was a crew chief's race today. It was very intriguing, to be honest, but yeah, overall, like, it was crazy. And I mean, the wreck I'm talking about here is the one that Joey Logano got involved in. After Logano pitted, he was caught up. It's kind of like what happened to Ty Gibbs yesterday. I honestly do think Joey Logano could have been one of the dominant cars to go out and potentially win this race, but it didn't work out that way. Chase Briscoe, I can't remember who he spun off the front bumper off. It literally feels like 2 decades ago that these wrecks happened. I mean, I'm currently running off 4 hours of sleep and got a pretty bruised rib right here, so like, bear with me. Yeah, Joey Logano, he ended up going to the outside of Briscoe to try and avoid the wreck, but Briscoe ended up spinning right into him. Stenhouse got involved, hit the inside wall. Did he hit the inside wall? No, he didn't, actually. That was lucky, I guess. But what else happened? Tyler Reddick ended up winning the stage because when everyone else pitted, I mean, you could tell Reddick had a really good car. And once Reddick got past Larson, or not Larson, but Logano, Blaney, whoever was up there giving him a challenge, like, Red Dog had, if he didn't have that block up in stage 2, Reddick would have been the car to beat. But, well, let's talk about stage 2. Well, stage 2, a lot of the same, to be honest. I mean, kicking off stage 2, you had Ty Gibbs. He hit the inside retaining wall, like, because this is the new thing at Sonoma on that last hairpin that leads to the start-finish line. Ty Gibbs hit that new wall around that hairpin. They finally decided to put a wall up instead of having tires there. But yeah, no, Ty Gibbs hits the inside wall, breaks some suspensions, and toe links and all that fun car stuff. And yeah, no, he was done for the day after that. I must say, this is a really rough day for Joe Gibbs Racing. I mean, in the first quarter of the race, you had Ty Gibbs wrecking out, Denny Hamlin blowing the motor, and Martin Truex getting spun out by Will Brown. I mean, Truex did recover, but man, we'll talk about Joe Gibbs Racing later in the day, but like, man, Austin Cindric went for a wild ride as well. He got some serious airtime. And I mean, God, I'm glad that car stayed on two wheels, because that could have been a pretty nasty flip. And then coming back, the way Sonoma's laid out, he almost could have rolled back up into traffic too. So I'm really glad that Cindric didn't roll back up into the traffic there. And man, what else happened here? Oh yeah, that's the turn 11 treachery. That was when Bubba Wallace went wide, and then everyone tried to avoid him, and then Josh Berry locked up the brakes going into the hairpin and took out like 6 cars. Who's all in this wreck? I see Brad Keselowski, shout out the Minions car, Austin Dillon, Cam Waters, William Byron had a flat in the first stage too. I figured William Byron was going to be one of the ones to beat today, but once he had that flat, once he ran wide in stage 1, he was just never really a contender, and then this happened, and it was just irrelevant for the rest of the day. Byron's kind of having a 2022 season. He started out really strong, and then kind of fading in the summer again. Sucks for Willie B. I think he could be a real championship threat, but I mean, I actually did predict Byron have 2 wins at the start of the season, but yeah, no, at the end of stage 2, here's the good thing about this is that you really, with the way the cautions and the strategy all work together, you didn't have to worry about, let's say, like pitting with 3 laps to go in the stage, so that way some guys can get stage points and then you end up with the track position once they pit under caution and all that stuff. But yeah, Larson and Reddick were battling out for position, and this is where Reddick's day got ruined, really, because he locked up the brakes and had a flat spot in those tires, and if I'm not mistaken, he never took tires again. Maybe he took them once, but it set him way back. But man, that was a rough break for someone like Tyler Reddick. And I mean, for a hometown guy here too, like Tyler Reddick's born just outside of Sacramento, so his house his birthplace only like 45 minutes, an hour away. So like, rough go for Reddick. I do hope he gets a Sonoma win one of these days, but it was a tough break for Reddick because he could never really recover from that. I think he ended up in the top 10. With all the strategy and everything working out, Chris Buescher in the 17, he got the stage win. Good for Chris. Good stage points for the Fastenal. It wasn't Fastenal today, it was Build Submarines. But man, we're going to start talking the playoff hunt more and more. This is probably the first weekend where I'm going to talk about it more. Once they give me the playoff standings while I'm recording these, I will definitely talk about them more. But yeah, Chris Buescher won stage 2. That's an extra playoff point for him, 10 regular season points. He's going to need those points where he doesn't have a win. He's close to the bubble, so that'll help Chris Buescher out a lot. He had a good points day too. Yeah. Oh, that's what happened to Cam Waters. He had suspension damage. Okay, good to know. But now that that's done, let's get into the final stage. But stage 3, I really enjoyed stage 3. It was pretty well cautioned. It was caution-free. There was a few drivers going wide at points, and I mean, maybe the odds spin out in the dirt, but if I remember correctly, there wasn't a single caution in the final stage. And I mean, the way stage 2 ended, it was pretty much the same results from there. So like, all the guys who were at the front in stage 2, they essentially had to pit earlier in the stage just because the way fuel strategy, tires. Oh my god, I keep burping tonight, but excuse me. But yeah, no, so all the guys like Buescher, the Truexes, the Bushes, they all had to pit early. Shout out to whoever watched my short, by the way, because like, man, I told you all to watch Truex, Buescher, and Kyle Busch, and they were running 1, 2, 3 at one point. I'm just saying. But anyway, what else? So, and then there was like the group of like Larson, Chastain, Elliott, those were the guys who pitted a little later in that second stage, so they could go a little longer. They would have fresher tires at the end of the race, and that paid a really, really, really big dividend because, well, let's put it this way. I mean, when Larson got out of the pits, he had 8 seconds to Buescher, Truex. Buescher and Truex, they were the main two fighting for the lead. And by the time 10 laps to go came around, he was right on their bumper. And Larson got out of the pits at like 30 to go. So, yeah. No, Larson was hauling some balls. Let's say that much. And I mean, he was, like, you could see on the lap times, he was 7/10 faster a lap. He was pretty well almost a second quicker. And he was catching. And I mean, Buescher had a bit of a gap to Truex. And Truex just kept hustling. Kyle Busch wasn't really in the pictures. He was just trying to hold it down as best he could. Michael McDowell was even up in the top 5. I'm pretty sure Michael McDowell ended up in the top 5. I actually had Michael McDowell on my fantasy team, so like, that ain't too bad. That ain't too bad. But yeah, no. What else should we talk about here? Yeah, so Larson got up to Truex and Buescher. Truex finally made the pass on Buescher, but Larson got past Buescher at the exact same time. And so, Truex went a little wide. I can't remember what turn it is. I believe it's turn 4, the one right before, like that. Oh, God, that hurt my rib. Okay, so yeah. Truex took it a little wide. He didn't place his car right, as Kevin Harvick said in the broadcast. Larson was able to get underneath him into that heavy braking zone, into the S's there. Larson gets the lead back. Kyle Larson pretty much dominates from there, and you could tell, unless he made a mistake, there was nobody getting to Kyle Larson to win that race. I thought there's a little speck on my screen. I thought it was on my shirt. But yeah, no. Kyle Larson gets the job done. He wins at Sonoma. Martin Truex, my big bet for the weekend, runs out of fuel, running second on the last lap. And then my favorite driver, Kyle Busch, gets wrecked by Ross Chastain on the last lap while he runs out of fuel too. So like, Joe Gibbs Racing ended up 38th, 37th, wherever they're gonna end up putting Truex, and Christopher Bell ended up in 9th. I mean, solid day for Chris Bell. I mean, when you think of road course guys, Chris Bell doesn't jump off the page, but like, he's solid pretty well everywhere we go. That's the thing about C-Bell. I'm sticking with my championship pick, guys. I told you back in February, Chris Bell is my championship pick. I am sticking to that all season. I can't remember who I had at the start of 2023. Who did I have at the start? I'd have to go back and look. But I know I had Truex starting the playoffs. I regret that one. But, yeah, no. At the end of the day, Larson hauled balls. His Cliff Daniels and company, they played the strategy to a T. They got the job done. Larson gets his second win at Sonoma, and let's get into the results. I will say I will try to leave the top 10 on the screen, but for some reason my Photoshop has been a real pain in the ass lately. So if I can put it up, I will. If not, I do apologize, but Kyle Larson, as I said, gets the win, followed by Michael McDowell, Chris Buescher, Chase Elliott, Ross Chastain, AJ Allmendinger. He was one on that the Truex, Buescher, McDowell, their strategy. Ryan Blaney, Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell. Tyler Reddick rebounded for an 8th. Good for him. Todd Gilliland, man, shout out Todd Gilliland, by the way. There were points where him and McDowell were both running like 7th and 8th consistently. Like, I genuinely didn't even consider Todd Gilliland as a road course ringer or whatever. And like, man, good for him. Good for him. Corey LaJoie brings home 11th. Kyle still brings it home in 12th. Good for him. That's probably where he was when the Truex caution came out. But followed by Brad Keselowski, Daniel Suarez, Alex Bowman, Zane Smith, he needed a good run, Carson Hocevar, Ryan Preece, Eric Jones, Bubba Wallace, Joey Logano, Austin Cinder, Kaz Grala, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Harrison Burton, Noah Gregson, Martin Truex Jr. ends up 27th, followed by Daniel Hemrick, John Hunter Nemechek, William Byron ended up at 30th. Damn. Will Brown, Josh Berry, what happened? Oh, Justin Haley had a steering issue. I never even heard. He was up in the top 10 again for Rick Ware. That's crazy. Chase Briscoe back in 34th. He had the transmission issue. Cam Waters had the accident. And Austin Dillon, Ty Gibbs didn't make the damaged vehicle policy, or didn't make the clock or whatever. And Denny Hamlin blew an engine 2 laps into the race. Alright, I'm gonna go try and find the playoff bubble right now. Be right back. Let's see if Bob or whoever else has it posted. I would hope so. Well, I cannot find this anywhere to save my life, so what can you do? Let's put this race on the Skyler scale. That's what we're gonna call the race reviews now, the Skyler scale. I think that's got a pretty good ring to it. But to give Sonoma a rating, thoroughly enjoyed this road course race. There was strategy. The repave worked really well, in my opinion. I thought it was easier to pass than most Sonoma races with this car. I mean, the problem with this car on road course races is that it's too easy to drive, man. Like, the good part about stock cars on road courses is because they were so hard to drive and no one could get, or like, well, people could make passes and people could use the bumper. So yeah, and now they're just too smooth to drive, and if you hit someone in the rear, it's not as big of an impact to shake someone up. So NASCAR knows what they need to do to make road courses and short tracks like a better quality in terms of the car, and that's just to make them harder to drive. We need a stock car, not a sports car. But at the end of the day, I really enjoyed Sonoma, and yeah, mistakes were prevalent. I mean, it felt like everyone was on the edge at all times, because it felt like you were almost on a qualifying lap 24/7 during this race. But at the end of the day, I'm going to give Sonoma an 80%. There's parts that could have been better, and there's, I mean, like, it was just a really good race. I cannot be upset at all. Sonoma was a great race. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Larson celebrates his Sonoma win, or celebrates having a playoff waiver by getting another win, and with Denny Hamlin dropping out of the, well, DNFing essentially, Larson now retakes the lead of the points. So Kyle Larson, new points leader once again. Give it up for Kyle Larson, ladies and gentlemen. Missed a race and he's still the points leader. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Give it up for Kyle. Oh my God. And you've been waiting for me to say this. No more Fox. Oh, it kind of hurts my rib, but no more Fox. Miracles do happen. Nothing against the broadcast team, like the cameramen, and like the booth. They all do a really good job, in my opinion. Like, I think Kevin Harvick's been a great addition to the booth personally, but not to mention they're getting rid of Race Hub too. That just hit me in the soul. But Race Hub's going and Stuart Haas Racing's going all in the same year. Ouch. But yeah, no, friggin' the production team is garbage. I mean garbage. No, you like they're you when friggin' we're watching the last lap and all the commentary is screaming, Truex is out of fuel! Truex is out of fuel! And they're just showing people in the crowd in like these friggin' like onesies, just there like, you can just tell they're pissed out of their minds, and this is all they're showing. They're like, more crowd shots! More crowd shots! We need to see more crowd shots! No, Fox, we don't. We want to see Truex actually trying to make it to the line. But what can you do? NBC is back this friggin' Sunday. Oh, I'm going to New Hampshire in 2 weeks. I wish it was on a Fox race, so that way I wouldn't have to worry about the horrible production. I can tell you guys how much better it would be in person to go to, but maybe someday New Hampshire will be on Fox. Well, next year it'll be probably on TNT or Prime, just the way the schedule works out. It'll probably be a Prime race, but we'll see. Yeah, I should really check my bracket challenge for Denny Hamlin as well. I'll probably check that out in the next couple of days. I'll keep you guys updated as I go on, but I know I had Joey Logano over Denny Hamlin. That much I do know, so that helps, I guess. But yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed today's race at Sonoma. If you enjoyed my video, make sure you like this video, comment down below, share this friend if you think they enjoyed my content as well, and subscribe and notifications turned on so you never miss any future uploads, including post-race reviews. And yeah, until next time, guys, I will see you next week for the return of NASCAR on NBC at the Iowa Speedway. Hopefully the repave works out well, but I'll see you guys next weekend for Iowa. Take care and peace.